Welcome to Always Analog, where we celebrate the beauty of analog technology in a digital world. Today we're going to look at a pencil. Yes, a pencil. Not a typical pencil as we do here on Always Analog, but a pencil that I found recently when I was on vacation in Indiana. And we were in a small town, and there was an office supply store there. And I went in and looked around, and they had some fun things in there. But among the offerings was this, a box of Listo pencils. And I had forgotten about these. I used to see them a lot when I was a kid. Kind of forgot about them, but they had them there, and so I bought a box of them. These are something that are still being made, by the way, and I believe the package sort of looks exactly the same. I don't know when this, let me zoom in, I don't know when this package was actually originally produced, but take a look at this. Here's a can of tuna fish for 35 cents. Writes on metal. Here it says writes on glass. Here's a jar of peaches, 38 cents. And then here it says writes on plastic, and I don't know what that is. Maybe a loaf of bread, 22 cents. So the prices alone will tell you how old these graphics are. But I think that's kind of cool that they're still using these. But the point is, it writes on almost every, kind of surface imaginable. And I think that's cool. Not a lot, not every pencil can say that. So let's just look at this fun box. So you have really a very vintagey sort of looking package, black and yellow and white. Here is the side. It is a Listo marking pencil, writes on everything. And then back here, it tells you how to advance the lead. Since 1940, the premier marking instrument, sturdy, reliable, compact, clean. The refill is available in 8 colors. Here's how to refill it. Made in the USA. And we have the same thing here. What do we got on the bottom? A dozen. These are black. So, yes, these are made in Alameda, California. And the Listo company has been in business a long time. It looks like these pencils here have been going since 1940, but they did make things even before that, because I believe the company was founded in 1921, or at least according to their website, because these are still being made. And again, it is a, think of a China marker. It's the same idea, but except in a different form, but it writes metal, wood, glass, plastic. It'll write on wet surfaces. There's no odor, unlike a magic marker. It doesn't dry out like a magic marker. It's non-toxic. So there's a lot of things to like about this Listo pencil. So I got one out there. I'll get another one out, because what I want to do here is sort of change up the refill, because in addition to the pencils, they had some, they call them leads. Again, they're not leads. Push in. Listo leads. Listo Pencil Corporation. Alameda, California, made in USA. So this is push in. So we'll push in. Pull out this flap. So here is, these are red. what I want to do is let's put a red one in one of these. But before we do, I guess we should look a little bit closer at the pencil itself. You know, it's black plastic. It has a metal clip here, a pocket clip. It says Listo on the clip. It also says something I cannot read. Pencil refill. Oh, pencil number, refill number. Okay. Here is the writing end of it. I'm gonna turn the bottom here, turning it clockwise. You can see the lead comes out, and I'm turning it counterclockwise so the lead comes back in, but you got to push it. And I'm going to take this bottom piece out. Okay, so there's the black lead. We're going to put in a red lead. If you order these from their website, you can get them color keyed to the lead. So these are all black, the tops, but you can get ones that have a red top for red leads and a yellow top for yellow leads, etc. Okay, so there's our red lead. Here's our black lead. Let me put this one in here. Okay, so of course they're going to write on paper, so we will, you know, very much feels like a China marker. Obviously, writing on paper is really not its intent, although it certainly does that. And by the way, fairly not too smudgy. But I've got a few things here that I thought would be fun to try. So here's a little plastic container. I'm going to use the red on here, and let's say I wanted to mark this 39 cents. There you go. It says also that on the website it's non-permanent, meaning that it can be erased simply with a cloth and water. So I've got a rag here dampened just with water. And comes right off. You can see it on the rag here. Okay. So yes, it works on plastic. Here's a metal, 3x5 file box here. Yep. Writes beautifully on the metal surface. Again, does it come off? Yep. Comes off beautifully there. And let's see. Finally, I have a little picture frame here. The piece of glass. So let's try it on glass. Doesn't seem to perform as well here on this glass. Let me get another type of glass. Let's see. Okay, let's try this one. No, it does better here. I guess maybe the glass on the frame is sort of coated with something. So maybe that was not a good choice. Here is just a drinking glass, and you can see it marks just fine on here. So let's see if I can restore my picture frame. Yes, problem there. Let's see how it comes off here on the... Yeah. Completely. Okay. So, if you are fond of a classic American-made product that is a pencil and writes on multiple surfaces, you might be interested in the Listo. And, you know, I remember seeing these as a kid when a lot of stores didn't have price stickers. Now we don't use price stickers at all because everything is scanned digitally, but back when there were actually prices on individual things, I remember seeing a lot of things marked with, you know, these kinds of markers, and so I often wonder what how much of a call there is for something like this today, but I can still see a lot of applications for it, and I'm glad I rediscovered these. So hope you like this look at the Listo, and please share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon here on Always Analog.